This isn't just UFC fashion. This is fight fashion. This is sports entertainment fashion. You do the job on the way out, right? So when a guy is leaving a company and they usually want you to leave on a loss. Bret Hart with that Montreal school job back in the day was supposed to drop the title, didn't want to do it, spit on Vince McMahon because he was going to WCW. Now Nate Diaz is going to leave the UFC. He's going to go to be someone else's commodity. They match him up with Khamzat Chimaev because in reality, Nate Diaz is supposed to lose to Khamzat Chimaev. When you look at this fight, and Nate's going to be mad at you because you're going to say something that has to be honestly what most people feel. When you look at this fight, Ryan, is this as big a mismatch as it seems to be on the surface?
No, DC, it's actually not. Obviously, you want to remember this era Khamzat Chimaev had before he fought Gilbert, right? Gilbert Burns, and that was an excellent fight. And I think what that fight proved, I actually just watched that again, and one of the tweets from Teddy Atlas was, we know what he has on the outside. And I think it was in parentheses, talent. Now we know what Khamzat Chimaev has on the inside. It also wiped away a little bit of his invincibility. And let's not act like Nathan Diaz wasn't just in the octagon with Leon Edwards. No, he didn't win that fight. I mean, he got the punch in the 5th round. But if you watch that fight, as it goes on, Nathan Diaz begins to outstrike Leon Edwards. And so, do I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to win? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to rely on wrestling and ground and pound and try to physically overwhelm him? Absolutely. And I believe it will happen. But it's something about Nathan Diaz that makes me feel like, you know what? He's not going to get dominated. He's not going to go out there and embarrass himself. He can be in this fight for 2-3 rounds. And so, do I think Khamzat Chimaev wins? Yes. But when I'm looking at Nathan Diaz, I don't bet against him to go down quietly, to just let this happen.
You know what, RC? I don't believe that Nate will go down quietly. But I just think that at this point in their careers, Nate is on a different path than Khamzat Chimaev because Nate will tell you that there's still championship aspirations because he's a fighter and he's as tough as they come. But when you look at what he has done recently, you can't just say Nate Diaz is in title contention. Popularity-wise, sure.
Right.
But in terms of what he has put on paper in regards to his fighting, you can't say that. Khamzat is every bit of what you would expect a soon-to-be title challenger to be. And if he gets past Nate Diaz, which will be his biggest win to date, even though the Gilbert Burns fight was fun, it will not be as valuable as a win over Nathan Diaz. Then you got to expect that he will fight Kamaru Usman next. This kid is dangerous. He has a ton of power. And like you said, what we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight is that he's tough. He's not going to give up on himself. So maybe he seemed as though he wasn't as dominant in that fight, but we saw him against another guy that's right at the top of the division, go through the fire, and not only win, but win in what can be considered one of the best fights that we've seen all year. So I just think that these guys are at different points in their careers right now, and I do believe it's a mismatch. And Nate's going to say something to me, but I hope he understands that I'm doing my job,
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.